couple pieces of wood. I noticed some bees buzzing around me, and then one hit the top of my hat, tried to sting me, and I knew, all right, that's not just bees, there's something else going on. And this is what I found when I was disturbing this wood over here. The hornets have made a nest, and they are defending it to the max. All right, we're gonna go take care of this. Howdy y'all, Phil here from Peterson Farms in Nashville, and today we're going to show you some progress that we have on the barn, the rehab of the barn. And we're also going to show you towards the end, we know exactly how old this barn is now. And this is one of the clues we found, and I'll explain that at the end of the video. But in the meantime, take your guesses, put them in the comments of how old you think this barn is, and then you'll find out towards the end of the video exactly how old it is by this clue. But in the meantime, we had an interruption and we had to take care of that. We got attacked by some hornets when I was over there retrieving the lumber, and I found out why. So stick around and see what we did about the bees in the barn. You're probably wondering, what is Phil up to now? With a shop vac, a 1.5 PVC pipe, and a sawmill sawn piece of siding lumber, white pine. Well, if you saw my short here just the other day, you'll understand that we have a little bit of a hornet's nest or a wasp nest, paper wasp nest issue. And I didn't know that they were there until I went over to try to get some of my lumber. And apparently I disturbed them enough that they came in and attacked me. Luckily, I didn't get stung. However, we've got grandkids running around here, plus I'm running around here, and we just don't need that headache. And we got to do something about it. So stay tuned and see what we got in store for you today. Here on Peterson Farms in Nashville, hornet removal video. Hey, it was an idea from one of my viewers who left a comment. So we'll give it a try and prove that it will work or it won't work. I believe it's gonna work. So I went through a lot of thought, and I picked up, we were needing a larger wet or shop vac anyway. And we did put some water up to about right here. This has a 6 amp motor. Is that what they declare it? But anyway, it's the largest motor that they had on hand with a 12-gallon tank. Had one plan in mind, and I think we're gonna go with a variation of that. I was trying not to use this, but this apparently has special connectors that screw on to there. So, hey, we'll give it a try. And then I want to be able to hook the shop vac end onto this, which I didn't get the right adapter, but I brought some Gorilla tape, which will be just fine. We can run that as far up this hose as we need to or want to. We'll have to figure out how long we need to get from here to up there. I got this attachment that comes with it, and we're going to put that on the end here to hopefully get a wide area of suction around the nest hole, the entry hole. Let's see how much suction we get. Yeah, I think that'll work. And then on top of that, we need something to prop it up with. And I figured we'd use this, cut a notch out. And be able to lean it up, something like that. Put a notch in here. Not quite. All right. We gotta come up with a different plan. Okay, with a few minor modifications, this will prop the PVC pipe up. This bungee cord will hold the PVC pipe to the chair. And then we turn it on and suck away. Yeah, that's gonna work fine. Now the key here is getting this all buttoned up and then positioned without getting stung. Hey, it's YouTube. We've got to have some close-ups for you all. Whoop. That adapter is just not getting it. We'll have to try something else. It seems to be working better without the adapter, but these Hornets are not real happy, so I gotta stay away as far as possible. However, you can hear them getting sucked into the tube as we reposition it into a better location on the nest. So it is working. All right, folks, we narrowly escaped a couple hits One hit me right in the face but didn't sting me. But this is the Hornet catcher. We've got a Craftsman vacuum there hooked up to some PVC 1.5-inch pipe that we've gotten as close to the nest opening as possible. And we got the GoPro attached. So viewing some of the GoPro footage, you'll be very interested to see what happens. Pretty cool. But anyway, we'll let that run for a little bit while we take care of some other things around here on the farm. All right, folks, got a little sidetracked and delayed because we had a front tire that was flat on our Kubota L3301. Can't imagine why. We would have got a nail in the tire, but didn't find the debris, so it must have been a puncture wound when we were driving over a piece of board or something here. But we're gonna have to get that magnet out, clean this whole place up. But first, we gotta get rid of that lumber there, get it over to the burn pile, and then we're going to hopefully finish getting, haven't decided yet, but we definitely need to replace those two beams up there. And in order to do that, I need to remove a few more sections of siding here. This siding is actually in good condition, so I'd hate to remove it because when I remove it, we destroy it. So I'm only going to remove as little as possible on each side so that we can then cut into each of those beams sections and replace those across the top. And then we'll probably end up removing all the siding because I'm looking at 2x4s. They're not as good a condition as what I thought they were. I guess you will find out. Well, we have a little problem. My hornet catcher has gotten limp. It's not in the same position as it was yesterday apparently because of the sun. So that means I need to reposition it. But hold on. Let's see. Do we still have hornets here? Or have they boogied out? All right, it's been 1 day since we hit the nest with the wasp spray. Ugh. There's still a few running around searching for their playmates. But by far, the nest has really been destroyed, and I don't see any more coming out of it. So the next thing is, let's see what we actually caught through the vacuum. All right, let's see what we have inside the vacuum canister, if anything. Ooh, make sure it's not alive. Interesting. Smells. I wouldn't say that there's anywhere near the whole nest in there, but I think what it did is it disrupted the nest enough that the majority of them left the next day and never came back. There's still a few stragglers, but if I were to guess, there's some down on the bottom. There's quite a few on the bottom, and parts of the pieces of the nest down there on the bottom. But if I were to guess, there's probably a couple hundred bees in there, wasp, hornets, whatever you want to call them. Let me get you a close-up. All right, let's get a few samples out of here so you guys can see what I was dealing with. Whew, man, it smells. Don't know if you can see those very well, but that's the type of hornet or wasp that we were dealing with. But anyway, jeez, man, they smell. All right, everybody, was it a success or a flop? You be the judge. On a scale from 1 to 5, the idea of this vacuum being able to suck the bees or hornets out of that nest, or as they're coming and going, is probably a 4 if you do it right and are able to without getting stung. But from the standpoint of being a productive way of catching hornets like that, in a nest that's hanging up high, and all the engineering that I had to go through to get that done, probably a 2. Nothing against the idea. I just think maybe ground hornets, if we could find a ground hornet nest, I think this would probably be the ticket for one of those. But as far as the wasp and hornet spray, I've done that many times with this type of a nest, and it's been very effective. I say 100% of the time, and knocks them out pretty quick. Now, in this case, we didn't hit it with the spray right off the bat, so it would have took quite a bit more to capture or kill, to eliminate all the hornets that were originally there. But you get the idea. And I thank the viewer who suggested this, because I thought it was a pretty cool idea. And I wanted to give it a try for them, as well as all you folks out there, so you can get a kick out of me getting stung but that didn't happen. We were lucky there. Anyway, we appreciate you stopping by Peterson Farms in Nashville. And if you enjoy this kind of video, or if you enjoy this type of content where we're restoring a barn, and I did find out how old that barn was. We found a beer can, one of the foundation blocks from the people who built this, because there was no other way that anybody else would have been able to drop a can in there. And after identifying it through AI on the internet, we found out that this can was produced somewhere around March to July of 1976. So this being July 2026, that makes this barn somewhere around 50 years old, depending on when they finished it, because this was found in the foundation. So hopefully, and this was the only one we found so far, it did not impact the quality of the barn that we could tell. It's all wood milled from a sawmill that built this whole barn. And that's exactly what we're doing with our sawmill, the Mecmax 36, sawing up all those storm damaged trees that were on the ground and repairing the barn, siding, and some of the structural integrity of the barn itself. So we hope you come back to see us finish the barn up here on Peterson Farms in Nashville. If you don't mind, hit that like button and subscribe so that you'll be notified when we push these videos out, if you want to be. And hit that hype button if you don't mind. It does help push these videos out. It's down there when you hit the comments and scroll or swipe the comments section left, the hype button should appear. And just click on that. We would appreciate it. But anyway, till next time, we hope you have a great weekend, and God bless you all, and keep coming back.